So the rabbi had prepared some remarks based on a letter by Rabbi Eric Yoffe, the former president of the Union for Reform Judaism. And he asked if it were possible for me to read the letter, and being the good person that I am, and having nothing prepared elsewise, I will go ahead and read the letter. And you have to forgive me a bit because it's small font. With the high holidays, this was written a couple of weeks ago, only 2 weeks away, so now only 2 days away, I decided that it was time to draft my sermon on Israel. It may change, of course, but this is what I have so far. As you have heard from my previous sermon, God's judgment and our repentance, and God's mercy and our self-renewal are the major themes of our high holy days. But before the holidays are done, I also want you to hear from me about the state of Israel. This is important because never in Israel's history have American Jews been so confused, distressed, and divided about what is happening in Israel. Never in Israel's history have American Jews been so confused, distressed, and divided about actual happenings in Israel. American Jews, like Israeli Jews, are split between doves and hawks. On the one hand, we have those who are focused on Israel's security in a dangerous neighborhood and an unstable world. On the other hand, we have those who focus mostly on the Jewish values and democratic principles of the Jewish state. None of this is new. But what is different now is that the two sides are totally unable to bridge the gap between them or recognize any legitimacy in the arguments of the other side. And what I want to suggest to you today, in this holy season, is that it is our task as Reform Jews and liberal lovers of Israel to represent the sensible center at a time when the center is collapsing. What are the arguments of each side? The hawks point out that the Middle East is supremely unstable. Syria is racked by a civil war, and Jordan is destabilized by massive numbers of Syrian refugees. Hezbollah threatens Israel from the north, Hamas from the south, and the Iranian Revolutionary Guards are 30 miles away from the Golan. The Palestinian Authority refuses to hold elections, and if it were to do so, Hamas would probably win. In this situation, peace is impossible. Nothing that might happen would make Israel feel secure enough to make territorial concessions. The occupation may be unfortunate, the hawk says, but there is no alternative to the status quo. The doves see things differently. They point out that the government of Israel has shifted dramatically rightward. In an era when ultranationalism is sweeping the democratic world, Israel's government has also moved in a nationalist direction, often with extremist overtones. Prime Minister Netanyahu has wavered on maintaining democratic norms at home. He has embraced right-wing governments, such as Poland and Hungary, which demand on the support of anti-Semitic and neo-fascist elements. And he has been the primary champion of the recently passed nation-state bill, which, by failing to mention legal equality for all Israelis, has managed to offend every non-Jewish citizen of Israel. The doves, while generally liberal in outlook, do not expect the most right-wing government in Israel's history to be liberal. But they do expect it to express more emphatically its commitment to a just peace with the Palestinians. And they can't understand why Israel has identified herself exclusively with the Republican Party. By doing so, she has undermined the principles of bipartisan American support for Israel, which has been the central premise of pro-Israel advocacy in America for the past 50 years. And finally, the Dove's mostly non-Orthodox Jews have been infuriated by the never-ending insults that they have suffered at the hands of Israel's government. Reform and conservative Judaism are still denied recognition in Israel, and there is still no place for egalitarian prayer at the Western Wall. And government representatives, while professing solidarity with Jews everywhere, quietly acknowledge that evangelicals matter more to them than liberal American Jews. Given this grim reality, where do we as Reformed Jews come in? The answer, as I said, is that we must be the voice of the sensible center. Others, overwhelmed by the events of the moment, are drifting away from their Zionist principles, but we are not. As I have said many times, Jewish life cannot be sustained with Israel at its core, and Israel cannot be sustained without the Jewish people at its side. Reformed Jews know that we Jews are one people, linked by covenant and history, and that without Israel, Judaism is impossible. Others, intimidated by conservative voices in their communities, are afraid to criticize the Jewish state, but we are not. We are serious about defining Israel as the homeland of the Jewish people, and therefore we know that every Jew has not only the right but the responsibility to critique Israeli politics, and we do not hesitate to do so. Others give lip service to issues of religious freedom, but see them as a secondary concern, as something that we can get later. But not us. We will not be silent when the decadent chief rabbinate, backed by the government, rejects the world's largest Jewish denominations. This is nothing less than a betrayal of Zionism. We insist that Zionism be what its founders intended, a movement of the entire Jewish people. Others are a bit too naive about the world around them. But we are not. We are a proud, liberal denomination, but at the same time solidly rooted in political realism. We have no illusions about Israel's leadership, but we certainly don't have any illusions about her enemies. We understand the importance of a Jewish army and Jewish power, and we thank God that Israel possesses both. Stateless Jews are defenseless Jews, and Israel means that Jews can use force if they must to remain safe and free. Others forget Israel's original mission, warning us against a Zionism of fear or Holocaust obsession. But we, as a religious movement with a long historical memory, are more sensible and cautious. Zionism was about creating a Jewish government to provide refuge to any Jew needing refuge, at any time, for any reason, no questions asked. And now, there are 2 million Jews in Europe, and not a single one of those European Jewish communities is truly secure. Zionism was about creating a Jewish government to provide refuge. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a repeat. So yes, we agree that Zionism cannot simply be survivalism, but we also know that if, God forbid, Jews face a crisis in France, England, Russia, Poland, or Hungary, there must be a Jewish state to take them in. And finally, others have given up on peace. This is true on both the right and on the left. But we have not. Yes, we're realistic, and Israel must be strong. And yes, peace may not come for 5 years, or 10, or 50. Still, contrary to those all around us, we believe it will come, and bringing it about is a sacred task. We do not hate or oppose the Palestinian people. We continue to respect their aspirations for independence. And we know that without dignity, the Palestinians there there can be no true dignity for Israelis, and without peace for the Palestinians, there certainly can be none for Israel. Reformed Jews know that the right of the Jewish people to self-determination in its ancient homeland is one of the most just and moral causes of our time. However, we also know that to occupy and control the lives of millions of Palestinians in the West Bank and to negate their right to create their own state, side by state with the state of Israel, is not just, it's not moral, it's not Jewish. By the way, I'm not suggesting equivalence here. Israelis and Palestinians are not equally responsible for the absence of peace. Our national movement has been far, far from perfect. Theirs has been mostly murderous. Nonetheless, no matter what, Reformed Jews will always be on the front lines of the struggle to transform the conflict into a serious search for peace. We continue to be motivated by the hope of building a future together, Israelis and Palestinians, Jews and Muslims, dominated not by fear and hatred, but by optimism and commitment to the peace of Jerusalem. There is not a simple message, but these are not simple times. Let us summarize. What does it mean for Reformed Jews to be the sensible center? It means that we oppose the Messianic settlers and the occupation forever Jews, because we know that Israel cannot forever enslave another people. It means that we oppose the give back the territories now, no matter what, Jews, because we know that absent an agreement for real security, ending the occupation immediately could mean chaos and endless terror for Israelis and Palestinians alike. It means that we ask ourselves, and what we offer the State of Israel is tough-minded realism, honest criticism, and insistence on religious freedom for all, and above all, non-stop striving for peace. We ask of ourselves and offer Israel tough-minded realism, honest criticism, insistence on religious freedom for all, and non-stop striving for peace. And it means that Israel is neither perfect nor innocent. We have not lost all our faith in Israel and never will. And therefore, we forever pledge to Israel our unconditional love. Not uncritical love, of course, but unconditional love. So help us, God.
There we go. Yes? No? Yeah. As we think about everything Rabbi Yaffe had to say about Israel and politics and not so politics, mostly politics, but as we think about how this world has become, and we take this season is typically more introspection as well in our own selves, and how do we be a better person. The first time I heard this song, this is a secular song on the radio, but the first time I heard this song, I'm like, oh my God, this is just like so spiritual to begin with. So I decided, since we're kind of, I don't know, a little adrift tonight, I thought I'd do this song tonight. And it's called Better Boat. I'm lonely, but I spend a lot of time alone, more than I smiling more despite the pain. I breathe in, I breathe out. Get lots of friends to call who let me talk about what ain't working, what's still hurting, all the things I feel like cursing out. Now and then I let them go, ride the waves I can't control, learning how to build a better boat. I ain't waiting, ain't no patience in these hands. I'm not complaining, sometimes it's hard to change a man. Think I'm stronger than I was. Let God do what He does. I breathe in, I breathe out. Got my friends to call to talk about what ain't working, what's still hurting, all the things I feel like cussing out. Now and then, gotta let 'em go, ride the waves I can't control, learning how to build a better boat. I breathe in, I breathe out. Got my friends to call who let me talk about what ain't working, what's still hurting, all the things I feel like cussing out. Now and then I let it go, I ride the waves I can't control. Is this working? I don't know. When I get done, the thing may not float, but I'm learning how to build a better boat.
As we begin to conclude our service, as well as we begin to conclude the last Shabbat of the year, I ask you to turn to page 586 for Aleinu, and for those who would like to share in the glow of the open ark, please join us.
Aleinu l'shabech l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula liyoter breshit, shelo asanu kegayei harazot, v'lo samanu kemishpochot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malkei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu she'u השמיים ועושה הארץ, ומושב יקרא בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגבי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו עינות, עמד מלכנו וזולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, ידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, והארץ מתחת אין עוד.
Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever.
ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. On page 596, when cherished ties are broken and the chain of love is shattered, only trust and the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times the pain of separation seems more than we can bear, but if we dwell too long on our loss, we embitter our hearts and harm ourselves and those about us. The psalmist said that in his affliction he learned the law of God, and in truth, grief is a great teacher when it sends us back to serve and bless the living. We learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silent in their presence, and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. Thus, even when they are gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as, in their higher moments, they themselves wish to live. We remember them now. They live in our hearts. They are an abiding blessing. During the period of Shloshim, 30 days after burial, we remember Linda Buja, sister of Jim Buja, Emmanuel Block, father of Abby Block, and during Shana, the first year after burial, we remember Loretta Sims, mother of Tony Sims, James Penwell, father of Lynn Rubenstein, Robert Campbell, the father of Mike Campbell. And on the occasion of their yahrzeits, the anniversary of their deaths, we remember Milton Alpert, uncle of William Price, Marcel Ani, mother of Alan Ani, Morris Blicht, grandfather of Brian Mushnick, David Boris, grandfather of Karen Pfeffer, Bessie Halpern, grandmother of Susan Hirschfield, David Levitt, father of Constance Schulman, Janet Price, wife of William Price, Edward Schertz, grandfather of Lori Beth Town, David Swag, father of Jonathan Swag. Are there others? Then we rise now as a community to recite the words of Kaddish that can be found on page 598 in a prayer for the coming of God's rule. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon, u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kodisha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushvechata v'ne'amata, ta'amiran v'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalom araba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Osei shalom b'mramav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort the bereaved among us, as together as one community we say, Amen. Please be seated.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Church. And you all know I'm Stacy Bushy. On behalf of the board, I'd like to thank Ellen for leading us this evening in song. This week's calendar includes some of the following. This Sunday is Erev Rosh Hashanah services at 7:30 at the Franklin Federated Church. Monday, September 10th, is our Rosh Hashanah children's service at 9 a.m., followed by the morning service starting at 10 o'clock, all at the Federated. This year, our Tashlich service will take place at a new location. The short 10 to 15-minute service, where we symbolically cast off our sins from the prior year into a body of flowing water, will take place at the Beaver Pond Recreation Area in Franklin, and that's between Beaver Street, or on Beaver Street between Grove and 140. And everybody will meet in the parking lot at the far right end, away from the Chilson Beach area. That is, but everybody in Franklin probably knows. All right, Tuesday the 11th is the Rosh Hashanah second day services at 10 a.m. here at 900 Washington Street. Wednesday the 13th is Religious School Open House and Book Pickup at 7 p.m. And that's at the new location, 201 Main Street in Franklin. Friday the 14th is Erev Shabbat and Shabbat Shuvah services here at 7:30. Upcoming dates and information that you need to be aware of. On Wednesday, September 19th, at the Federated Church, at approximately 6:30, we'll join together as a community to break the fast on Yom Kippur and welcome the new year. And we need everyone's help, so go to the website and sign up. See if you can bring anything that is still needed. You also can drop items off earlier in the day, or reach out to Margot Rivelis if you need to can't be there that day but would like to donate earlier. Book reading for Sukkot is, in case anybody knows the ones, Sunday, September 23rd, Who's Got the Etrog will be read as part of the religious school, but all are welcome, not just religious school students, with their parents. 10:30 is for younger students up to grade 4, and 11 a.m. is for older students, and that's here. Sukkot is here
almost here, I guess, and it's time to celebrate with the lulav, etrog, and eating in the sukkah. If you're interested in joining the festivities, please reply by September 20th, as we need to order the pizzas for the 6 o'clock dinner. We just ask that you bring a sweet for the oneg, and once you're finished eating, you can decorate our sukkah. The service starts at 7 p.m., and that's all here. And any questions, you can contact Rack or Emily Berman. The first tech fundraiser of the fall or the new year is at Medway Cafe on September 25th from 4 to 10, and it's for dine-in only this time, so don't forget to go to the website and print and present your coupon. We also have a new Jewish teen education program for the temple that is a grant for our temple. It's Chaim and Beth Torah, so you can come to a free kickoff session if you know anyone that's interested. They don't have to be temple members. It's 8th to 12th grade, and you can learn all about the information. And we thank CJP for help sponsoring or for fully sponsoring the innovative approach to our teen education. There are 3 Save the Date events coming up I want to make sure you're aware of. The first is that we're proud to be hosting a presentation by Rabbi Sally Prisan, the first woman ordained a rabbi in the United States. She will speak about reflections of her life as a rabbi, and the program will be held on Wednesday, October 24th at the Franklin Federated Church. Also on this 50th yahrzeit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., our temple will be joining with Temple Sharei Shalom in Hingham and Temple Haye Shalom in Easton for a civil rights journey to Atlanta, Montgomery, Birmingham, and Selma in November. And there's still time for you to join us, so if you haven't already, contact the rabbi for more information to sign up or to ask about more information. And last, please join us on Saturday, November 17th for our 4th annual gala celebration. And you can, I know, and you can keep trying. And you can refer to your invitations for who we're honoring. And you can refer to our website for more information about the high holidays in the month to come.
So for all of those in the congregation tonight, as well as our many, many viewers online, Rabbi, get well. All right, so we're going to, as I have to put them. Anyone need one? We are going to, for the last Shabbat, before Rosh Hashanah, do our reading of Psalm 27, but we're going to do it just a little differently. So we're still going to break it up, left side of the congregation and right side of the congregation, even number, odd number. But this time, when it's your turn, I want you to stand up and say your portion. When you're through, sit down. This way you're going to get a little pre-Rosh Hashanah exercise. So, even. Oh, I'm talking to the people in the back.
O David, Adonai is my light and my help. Whom shall I fear? Adonai is the stronghold of my life. Whom shall I dread?
When evil ones assail me to devour my flesh, it is they, my foes and my enemies, who stumble and fall.
Should an army besiege me, my heart would have no fear. Should war beset me, still would I be confident.
One thing I ask of Adonai, only that do I seek, to live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of Adonai, to frequent God's temple.
Adonai will shelter me in God's pavilion on an evil day. Grant me the protection of God's tent. Raise me high upon a rock.
Have my head high over my enemies round about. I sacrifice in God's tent with shouts of joy, singing and chanting a hymn to Adonai.
Hear, Adonai, when I cry aloud. mercy on me. Answer me.
In your behalf, my heart says, seek my face, Adonai. I seek your face.
Do not hide your face from me. Do not thrust aside your servant in anger. You have ever been my help. Do not forsake me. Do not abandon me. O God, my deliverer.
Though my father and mother abandon me, Adonai will take me in.
Show me your way, Adonai, and lead me on a level path because of my watchful foes.
Do not subject me to the will of my foes, for false witnesses and unjust accusers have appeared against me.
Had I not the assurance that I would enjoy the goodness of Adonai in the land of the living altogether?
Look to Adonai, be strong and good courage. Oh, look to Adonai.
You all ready for Rosh Hashanah?
Stand up, sit down, son.
Our closing song is going to be Hashkivenu. What? Oh, I forgot. We have to do Achad Shal. Yeah, Achad Shal Halti. I can't say it on page 358. I stood and sat too much. Okay, now we're going to sing our closing song, which is Hashkivenu, where you can find it in brackets this time again on page 160. Please rise.
Barechecha Adonai Yishmerecha. May God bless us, protect us. Ya'er Adonai Panav Elecha V'yichunecha. May God's face shine light upon us and be gracious unto us. Sa Adonai Panav Elecha V'yasem Lacha Shalom. May God lift up God's face unto us. Give us the strength